pithy and impulsive. Or Sprout Rage, vegan version of the above. One don't give a fuck. Drought Rage for the climate change enthusiasts. Scout Rage, explore the frontiers of boiling blood. Kraut Rage, stern and efficient, may have associations with going a little overboard in wartime. Grout Rage, let people know what you think about the cracks in their argument. How about Crouch Rage? Only for the flexible, as you'll have to find a tight, unexpected space to perform this one from. Or Oust Rage, perfect for the cancellation connoisseur. And finally, Snout Rage, give Zizek a run for his dollars, which I don't get. I know it has a joke, something to do with Zizek and Peterson's debate. I don't know. But I had to add one of my own, and I called it Flauta Rage. When you have a mildly spicy beef, but you keep it tightly wrapped, preferably in a corn tortilla. And that made me think of something when I wrote that, and so I had to add at the bottom there. Yes, some may say it's cultural appropriation, but that's okay because cultural appropriation is a social construct, just a social construct. So there you go. But good morning. Let's say hi to everybody. Rolling Bear gets the bell. Who was first? Good morning, Max Del Rio. You're going to get a bell too. There's always a first before the bell, and there's a first after. It's not before the bell. Before I go live, and the first after I go live, and that was Max Del Rio. So you get a bell too. Good morning, Chicago Mike. Good morning, Marsupial Gamer. Sarah, DL Freighter Watcher, Jaeger Pony, and MCO Hammer Time, and Johnny Hellcat. So those are the people in the chat so far. I'm sure there's a few people out there lurking too. That's fine. Enjoy the show. So let's now. It got me to thinking when I wrote that about cultural appropriation is a social construct, because the other day here, let me take this off the screen real quick. The other day. Well, not even the other day. This was earlier, last week, before this whole Carlos Maza thing blew up. A lot of people were on the internet discussing transgender athletes participating in sports of their new... I was going to call it their chosen gender, but I can get in trouble for saying their chosen gender, for their gender that they are, whatever they are now versus what they were before. And so you've seen a lot of stories in the news about transgender athletes who are either winning or excelling in their new sports, particularly male to female transgender athletes. Now, there are, because the instances of female to male transgender athletes excelling are beyond rare. There is one that I know of that has gotten some interest, impressed because in an event, what's it, not the biathlon, it's they call it the dualathon. I think it's run and swim, or it's bike and swim, one of the two. But that's the only really female to male athlete I've ever heard of that has excelled. Although there is also a boxer, but they had one fight. They're 1-0, but the fight they had was against a slouch, and this person was an Olympic boxer when they were a female. They were a world class boxer. And so then after transitioning to being male, whatever. But anyway, you're hearing a lot of... Anyway, that's way off the track what I'm talking about. So anyway, there's a ton of discussion because a YouTuber named Rationality Rules made a video that pissed off a lot of people in the atheist community. And so then another YouTuber named Essence of Thought made it a counter video to that. And then all of a sudden Cult of Dusty's in it, and all these other people are making videos about it. And then he gets kicked out of some atheist conference, or gets disavowed by some atheist community out of Austin, Texas. That's supposed to be a big deal. I don't know a whole lot about the atheist community. So to make a story short, one of my I friends, frenemies, someone that I have a good relationship, but who with I disagree with about everything. But she's a very nice person. I mean, I know she has a great heart. She made a video when she was talking about this whole thing, and complete people were talking about how she made an argument using one of Ben Shapiro's video, because Rationality Rules used a Ben Shapiro video to say about a good argument for this transgender thing. And what Ben Shapiro did, he's having a question and answer session with a college student, and the college student says something to the effect of, well, transgender people are what they are. They are what they say they are. And Shapiro says, well, okay, let me ask you a question. He says, how old are you? And she's like, what? What are you going to say that because of my age I don't know anything? He said, no. Just that has nothing to do with it. Tell me how old you are. And she says, well, I'm 21 or 22 or whatever she said. And he says, well, how come you're not 60? And so saying that, just because if you say you're 60 doesn't mean you're 60. Well, my friend, and I'm not going to tell her name because I don't want to harass her. I'll make a video about it later, but I still don't want her to be harassed or whatever. She says, well, see, that's just dumb because that someone saying that age, she said that age is just a social construct. It's because the numbers that we have are just, how we use language. So language is a social construct. And I thought, I heard that and I go, no. Okay, look, age is not a social construct. It's now the language we use and the measurement we use is first of all you can't dismiss an argument by saying it's a social construct. A lot of people like to say, well, there's only two genders. Oh no, but gender is just a social construct. So, in essence, saying because it's a social construct, you can dismiss it. Okay. Well, first of all, let's talk about this age argument, which drove me insane. I'm like, are you kidding me? No, age is not a social construct, but we do have, and there's also there's nothing wrong with social constructs. That's the other thing. There's nothing wrong with social constructs. Social constructs, basically, at least now I haven't studied this, but I'm just spitballing off the top of my head. And if someone sees this and wants to correct me, I'm happy to listen to you. In fact, I could be happy to have a conversation with you, online or offline, because I'm interested in the subject. So, just because something's a social construct does not make it wrong. Okay. So let's take the age example. In our world, we've agreed to, as a society and as most of the world, we all agree on using the same measurement for time. So we're all using this same measurement for time. And so if someone says they're 21 years old, we have a common measurement for that amount of time. Okay, now it may be a social construct that we've decided how we call it, and that we decided that we're using the 365 day scales based on the number of times the sun goes up and down when our sun revolves around, or excuse me, our planet revolves around the sun, and we use 24 hours, and we split up the amount of time that the sun takes to go around the earth into 24 segments instead of 10 or 7 or whatever measurement we use. But we all have a common measurement so that we can have an empirical, subjective way to measure time. So no, saying that time is a social construct because that's how we've chosen to put it together and what language we do, No, it's a common measurement that we all use. And so if he says to this girl that you're not 60 because of a social, yeah, I know I know I just triggered the flat earthers, didn't I? Anyway, so if we know what that measurement is, they already have agreed to how they're going to measure time. So no, saying it's a social construct does not change his argument. Okay, and so when we say social construct in the concept of gender, for the lifetime of man, at least in most societies, the social construct of well, first of all, there was no social construct of gender. Gender is a relatively new concept. Okay, at least as the way it's been, as the way it is used in academia. And originally, the concept of gender came about by when they weren't talking about people. And I can't remember her name, but she was talking. The person who came up with this concept was saying, "Yeah, why do we assign a gender to inanimate objects?" So, for example, they would say that this ship, she's a beautiful ship. Okay, why do we assign, a gender to that? Or that hammer, he's a real solid hammer. Whatever. Assigning a social gender, whatever, to an inanimate object, and that's kind of been morphing into, oh well, humans are, there was an article I saw that they're talking about 1,000 different genders. Well, gender has always been boats, cars, guns, all female. Yeah, whatever, things like that. My lawnmower's a he, though. My lawnmower's name's Rudy. Anyway. So now we get into this whole gender thing with humans, and it's very frustrating to me because, so when so now they want to distinguish between sex and gender, right? So why are we but gender, until we started changing how some people talk about it, for some people, gender and sex are completely different because for most people, it's sex and gender are the same thing. They relate it specifically from, based on the biological or physiological aspects of sex, and those characteristics, the characteristics that are average characteristics. Let's put it that way. The average characteristics. That's kind of how our society has always separated men and women. Now that there's plenty of people now who say, okay, no, sex and gender are different, right? Now this is a rant. I don't even have this written down or planned out, so just bear with me. But so now people want to separate sex and gender. They want to say, oh, there's all these different genders, based on what kind of mood and what kind of clothes you're wearing and this and that. But here's my question about that, and I want to have this discussion with somebody who may be an expert on it. And like I said, I'm not. My opinion is not, set in steel. But so we've had this social construct that as a society we've always agreed on, and now we want to change that particular social construct for a new social construct. Okay, we want a new, because it's still if gender is a social construct, it's a social construct whether it's this, we do it this way, or whether we do it this way. Right? It's still a social construct. So is gender even important? Why is it important? Okay. And it got me. The other thing, the other one was there's an article in the Huffington Post that's talking about, not only women need abortions, there are men and non-binary people or whatever that need abortions. Okay, you are still whether you call yourself a man, okay, and okay, fine. If you want me to say trans men are men, if you're a trans man who is a man, you are still a biological, physiological female. Okay? By the common definitions that in our language, it may be a social construct, but those are the agreed upon definitions of male and female. Okay? If you are talking about animals throughout the planet, and zoologists are talking about animals, that if they're mammals or birds, reptiles, any type of animal on the planet that reproduces via a male and a female, okay, we're biological animals on this planet. We are mammals on this planet. So the classifications when you're talking about reproduction are male and female. That's how we reproduce as humans, okay? Whether you call yourself a man, a woman, a non-binary, genderqueer, whatever you call yourself, you are still, if you are the carrier of that baby, you are still a biological, physiological female. By definition. Okay, now I know people want to, some people are saying sex is a social construct. No, it's not. So, and to say that, so some say sex isn't binary. Yes, it is. Sex is binary. Now, well, what about intersex people? What about, these conditions? Yes, there are anomalies. Okay, there are exceptions to the binary. But just because there are exceptions to the binary doesn't mean they're a completely different sex. Based on our agreed upon knowledge, our agreed upon use of science, right? That from a physiological standpoint, there are males and females in the reproductive process. I know I'm getting annoying, but it's just, I loved it. I wish I want to, and I guess I want to talk to some people. One of these days I'm going to have one of my transgender friends come on here, and we're going to have this discussion. I've never had a discussion with this person about it, and I'd love to hear what they think about what I'm saying here. It's, because it's just, we're so worried about, and part of it, I think too, we've grown up in a society in the more recent years, the current generations, let's say the millennials and whatever they call this post 2000 generation coming up now. And we've always told people how special they are. We've always tried to, make sure that everyone got a trophy when they played, Little League Soccer. Everyone got a participation trophy. Everyone got to be special. And so now it's harder to be special by achieving something or doing something or being, so now we're trying to differentiate people, that every little different quirk in your personality or style or, feelings, now you get to create your own brand new category of special. So now we have to cater to every little special that there is, rather than just, being something. It's kind of like, in my day, when I was in high school, there were the burnouts and the black eyeliner people. Okay. They hang out in the one quad of our high school. That's where you could find them. And they were kind of they dressed super, or punkers too. The punkers were, that's how they drew attention to themselves. That's how they were special, because they got to be their own type of person. They didn't have to be a cookie cutter. They didn't have to be a cookie cutter jock or the smart kids, although in our school, the smart kids, jocks, and the musicians were all the smart kids. I mean, I don't know, whatever. They were all kind of blended together. But there was that, the group who, now they get to be special because they had spiked hair and they wore all the, studded leather wristbands and shit. That was their special. Well, now the special is I oh, you know what? No, I'm a genderqueer demigirl. That's how that's how I make myself a special individual. And you must address me by her and they pronouns because I'm special. I have to be something special. For me, if gender is a social construct, then I don't care about your gender anymore. Okay, if it's just a social construct, it's not an agreed upon social construct because there's all this, this chaos as far as, these people want you to abide by this gender social construct, and these people want you to abide by this social construct. Well, if it's just a social construct, then I don't care. I'm gonna just do what I do. I have a way that I have a language that I've been using since I was 2 years old. And that language is pretty specific. And this is how I use language. And so when I talk about you to that guy over there, I'm going to try to talk to that guy over there so he understands what the hell I'm saying. So I don't mean this to be rude, but it's very unlikely that I'm gonna refer to you as a single person because there's several people over there by you, and so I'm not gonna talk to him and say, well, that they have a red jacket on, and that because it doesn't matter what you think your pronouns are. It matters what I can convey to him to have him understand who I'm talking about. Hey, she's about to walk into front of a bus. Go save her. As opposed to, hey, they's about to walk in front of a bus. Go save them. If you're about to walk in front of a bus, I think your pronouns are irrelevant. What's important is that he saves you. And that's how I use language. I use language so that he can understand, not to validate your feelings. You know what? I don't want to be rude and I don't want to make you feel bad about who you are. And but my pronouns are not there to validate you. Pronouns are there so I can speak to him in a concise language. Because I may not know your name. Because if you tell me your pronouns are they and them, I'm probably just going to go, okay, what's your name? Because I'll just call you by your name. Because that just confuses me even trying to say it. I don't want to get it wrong and I don't want to offend you. If I'm talking to you or talking to you in a tight group, I'll just use your name. Because I don't, that's not my language. Okay? I'm not going to go to France and tell somebody who only speaks French that they have to speak English for me. If they're talking about me to another person in French, I don't care if they skip my name, say my name right or whatever. I just want to make sure they understand that if they're talking about me, about something I need, then I want them to make sure they understand what they're talking about to each other. It doesn't affect me if they get something a little bit wrong or whatever. It's not, why would I be offended by that? So anyway, that's my show rant today, and that's why I called this stream "Cultural Appropriation is a Social Construct," and I think I'm going to use that the next time someone mentions anything about cultural appropriation, because the concept of cultural appropriation, that someone owns a certain cultural habit, that it can't be shared, it can't be appreciated, it can't be used, it can't be borrowed, it can't be transmorphed, it can't be, whatever. Fuck you. If I like something, I'm not, 9 times out of 10, I'm not wearing something to be offensive. It's funny. Not this year. What was it last time? Maybe it was 2 years ago. There's a Mexican restaurant up the street that my wife and I go to all the time, and it's really one of our favorite restaurants. And it's close by and it's really authentic. And we know all the wait staff. I mean, the wait staff see us and they come us and give us a hug and say hi, whatever. That's how regular we are at this Mexican restaurant. And we were there a couple years ago. It was early in the day on Cinco de Mayo. Okay. Now, Cinco de Mayo is not really a Mexican holiday. It's more of an American holiday made up by beer companies and tequila companies to get people to drink more, okay? Because it was a pretty minor event in Mexico. And in Mexico, the only reason I think they celebrate it in Mexico is because the Americans like to celebrate it. So we're in this restaurant on Cinco de Mayo. And lo and behold, when we went in there, the wait staff put a sombrero on my head. So, now was that clearly they didn't care that I was guilty of cultural appropriation. They didn't care. They're the ones who put it on my head. They don't, it's funny. Actual Mexicans, like there's a great video. I can't remember who did it, but some dude, it was near Cinco de Mayo, and the guy had one of those, really bright colored ponchos. And he had a sombrero, and he had a fake mustache. One of those big old, I for lack of a better term, big old Mexican looking mustaches. And he was walking around in a heavily Hispanic place in I think the Los Angeles area, and it's funny because all the white people he talked to. We're saying, oh, I can't believe you're disgusting. Cultural appropriation, blah, 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 blah. But every time he walked up to someone from a Mexican person, and they was like, hey, what do you think? And like, hey, that's cool, man, looking good. The Mexicans don't give a fuck about that. It's hilarious. It's always the white woke people who are pissed off about things. Like, for example, when I see a white dude wearing a dashiki, I don't give a shit. I think, all right, cool. You like the style, okay? Or if I see a white dude in dreads, do I give a fuck if I see a white dude in dreads? Nope, I don't. Because even the concept of cultural appropriation is a social construct made up by left-wing, woke, progressive, F-tards. So you know what? And in fact, it's funny because, if you think of St. Patrick's Day, do you ever hear anyone complaining about cultural appropriation on St. Patrick's Day when the brothers and everybody out there wearing green, drinking beer, wearing the, whatever? No! No, nobody gives a fuck when it's on St. Patrick's Day. You know why? Because nobody cares. Oh, wait. Oh, I know why they don't. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. That's because the Irish are not marginalized. Oh, at least they aren't now. No, because the Irish are pussies. Oh, the Irish aren't pussies. Oh, hey, I didn't, a couple of people from Chicago. Mike, how you doing? Faithless, Mr. Dax, Sarah, and I think that's all the new people. Max Del Rio, I think you were here earlier, though. You were here first or second. Okay, I think I got everybody. Anyway, so next time I might be doing a video on this. I keep saying I'm going to do videos again, but who knows? I might do a video. The next time I hear the word culture appropriation, though, especially on Twitter, I'm gonna mess with people. Every time someone talks about cultural appropriation on Twitter, that's gonna be my new answer. Cultural appropriation is a social construct. No, Grill and Pirate Pete, I don't forget about the no Irish need apply days in America. Yeah, no, I know. In fact, I think that's one of the reasons you have a lot of, at least the stereotype in Boston and in New York is that there's a lot of Irish cops because that was one of the few jobs that, the government jobs were the ones that the Irishmen could get. They couldn't get jobs at private companies because they were discriminated against, but they could get government jobs, and so becoming a police officer or a firefighter was something that the Irish people were allowed to apply for, so they did in droves. It was a great job. So anyway, I said, hi to you at the start of the show. Oh, okay. I just make sure I hit everybody. So, but I didn't say hi to Pirate Pete. How you doing, Pirate Pete? Good to see you. All right, so hey, that was quite a rant. How long? Jesus, 36 minutes of ranting. Well, the clip at the beginning was the President of the United States, if you didn't recognize him, just in case you didn't recognize him, and is the end of his D-Day speech yesterday. Apparently, surprisingly, it got rave reviews, where even so crazy that apparently even Jim Acosta praised the president. Yeah, here, check this out. Jim Acosta gives Trump massive praise for his D-Day speech. Let's just watch this. That's not it. It's not a video. What the hell? Hang on. This is loading. Or is this an April Fool's joke? Acosta off. Okay, apparently it's not, for whatever reason, it's not clicking here. Hang on. Here, let's see if we can find on YouTube. Maybe someone did it. Jim Acosta lavishly. Here we go. CNN's Jim Acosta lavishly praises Trump Normandy speech. Here we go. Let's DJ Trump. No. Okay, I'll find it later sometime and we'll play it. But yeah, even Acosta praised his speech. Now on Twitter, of course, there are plenty of detractors who were just pissing and moaning about, he's reading off a teleprompter. We talked about that yesterday. Teleprompter. But I thought it was quite humorous. All right, let's get into some news. Besides, let's talk about the D-Day speech first. President Trump honors D-Day heroes in a powerful 75th anniversary address from Normandy. President Trump commemorated the 75th anniversary of D-Day, delivering what has been received as a blockbuster speech from Normandy, France, to honor the American and Allied soldiers who helped free Europe from the tyrannical grip of Nazi. Well, I probably should say it that way because, I'll tell you in a minute. Nazi occupation. I don't want to get demonetized. I'm never going to be demonetized, just FYI, and I'll tell you why later if you remind me after I finish this story. I'll tell you. Remind me to tell you why I'm never going to be not monetized. All right. President Trump and Florida. Okay. Here, let's just look at a couple clips. Oh, no, that's the ending. We are gathered here on freedom's altar, on these shores, on these bluffs. On this day, 75 years ago, 10,000 men shed their blood and thousands sacrificed their lives for their brothers, for their countries, and for the survival of liberty, the president began. Today, we remember those who fell, and we honor all those who fought right here in Normandy. They won back this ground for civilization. These men ran through the fires of hell, moved by a force no weapon could destroy, the fierce patriotism of a free, proud, and sovereign people. Thanks to 170 World War, thanking the 170 World War II veterans in attendance, the President Trump added, "You are among the very greatest Americans who will ever live. You are the pride of our nation. You are the glory of our republic, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts." President Trump was joined by French President Emmanuel Macron and many global leaders in Normandy. The president also thanked U.S. veterans for continuing to step up when the country and the world were in need, citing that the threat of rapidly expanding communism under the USSR during the Cold War. In the decades that followed, America defeated communism, secured civil rights, and kept on pushing new frontiers, the president said. To all our friends and partners, our cherished alliance was forged in the heat of battle, tested in the trials of war, and proven in the blessings of peace. Our bond is unbreakable, he said toward the conclusion of his remarks. Yeah, I mean, he got a lot of praise for the speech. Dawg Knight is a stripper name, so no monetization. Anyway, so yeah, and I don't think there's, other than, you know, people, the TDS people on Twitter, he got praise pretty much from everybody for this speech. And the fact that he was getting praise just pissed people off to no end. You know what? You know who I really miss? And I'm not saying, in a way I'm joking, but I'm not joking. I miss the Krasenstein brothers. They were such a great form of entertainment. I wanted to hear them bitch about the speech, but they're not on Twitter anymore. I don't know where to find them, and I'm not looking for Krasencast. That's, you know what, maybe that should be my project this afternoon. Go find out where the Krasenstein brothers are. See if they're still doing the Krasencast, because it's kind of embarrassing anyway. All right, now to remind you. Okay, so first of all, so let's make a transition into what I said to remind me about, but I remembered on my own. I decided yesterday. I made a big decision for myself that if and when, and I'm going to say when because I'm sure it'll happen. I'm sure the channel will begin to grow. If and when I get to 1,000 subscribers. I was debating yesterday. Wow, that'd be cool because I could get monetized on YouTube then. If once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I can get super chats and blah 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 blah. And the more I think about it, the more I think I've decided that I am not going to apply for monetization on YouTube, no matter how big this channel grows. And here's why. Especially after yesterday. One, YouTube's rules for monetization, I think in the future, they've kind of telegraphed this pretty good, but they will not. Is Necro heading out? All right, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate you were here. Hit the like button, share. No volume in the surgery center. Okay, yeah, no, that's. Oh, I hope things are well. All right, good luck. Good luck with the surgery in your family. Okay, let's get back to this. I am never going to monetize my channel. And that is because right now YouTube is... First of all, YouTube's pretty fragile. We already know that YouTube's been hemorrhaging money. They get a lot of bad press. And every time something like this Carlos Maza, Steven Crowder thing comes up, YouTube arbitrarily goes in and decides that they no longer care about any principles of free speech because, you know, even in this Crowder case, yes, this is just a media cry bully. Yes, okay, let me put it this way. Crowder did say some mean things, okay? In the context of discussing the ideas that Maza was presenting. But on those, some of them, he used words that I necessarily wouldn't do. I don't, you know, I'm not going to say something, you know, rude. They were jokes in bad taste. Were they funny? Hell yeah, they were funny in some of the cases. Sometimes it's funny because it was making fun of something that the dude said about himself. But, you know, they were in bad taste. Sometimes jokes are in bad taste. Not everyone likes the same jokes. But it was, yeah, they were funny to some people. But now, YouTube has decided now that they don't want people discussing other creators' ideas. They don't want you talking. They don't want you to be able to say rude things. And that it's not just Steven Crowder, Kevin Logan, who I don't agree with on anything. He's way out there, woke. Modern feminist, whatever, woke, whatever. Intersectional feminist. And he uses bad words and says bad things about people on the internet. And I think that's okay too. So if you can, and I occasionally, now I generally don't attack people for personal things. I don't attack people for what they look like or what their personal life is. I usually try to talk about people's ideas. But occasionally I say bad words, occasionally. And so why would I want to give YouTube one, and if YouTube's not going to allow me to do that on a platform that's supposed to be an open platform, well, why would I want to have YouTube to have any power over me whatsoever? So if I take YouTube the money because YouTube's giving me money so they can run ads on my channel, but I'm not allowed to say what I want on my channel on what's supposed to be an open platform, why would I want YouTube to be able to make money off of my channel? Now they're going to anyway in some ways. I get that. But I don't want that. I don't want them to have control. I don't want them to be able to say, I got 1,000 subscribers and all of a sudden I can get a little penny here and there for time on my videos, and I can get super chats, and then 30% of it goes back to them anyway, and probably 99% of the ad revenue of playing an ad on a channel goes back to YouTube. Yes, the YouTubers get paid for the ads that run in their channels, but my God, it's penance. Why would I want to make more money for YouTube? Okay, they can make whatever they make off me just for me having a channel, fine. But I'm not gonna give them more of an opportunity. I'd just rather, if viewers want to take care of me, that's great, and I'm happy with that. It won't be my number one. It'll never be my number one revenue stream anyway until I retire. Okay, so I'm not going to give YouTube that opportunity either, because it's an opportunity that they can take away from me at any time, just because I might say the wrong word once in a while. Or I might talk about the wrong person. Or I might have the wrong opinion that doesn't match with their wokeness. So I'm never going to be, I'm not going to ever apply for monetization on YouTube. And in fact, I hope, boy, wouldn't it be great? And I know some people rely on YouTube. They made a career on YouTube. It's part of their personal revenue stream. But God, wouldn't it be great if a whole bunch of YouTubers of all different persuasions, because of this, just said, fuck it, I'm gonna cancel my monetization. But the problem is, then they can't a lot of them use super chats, at least the ones I follow. Dawg, thank you so much for the super chat via Streamlabs, which I will continue to use, which is down in the description down there if you want to have something said. Dawg donated $3.88. Thank you, my friend, for cost of a large iced reparations coffee near him. Or I don't know if I think Dawg's a he. I wouldn't want to misgender you. They. Anyway, Dawg, cost of one large coffee, iced reparations coffee for $3.88. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. It is great. It does create great incentive for me to keep doing this, even though I love doing it anyway. But it always helps me out. Sometimes in fact, last month, okay, the donations actually paid my internet bill, so that was great. It's great to break even on a month for spending some time doing this. And it's fun too. So I do appreciate y'all who do the donations and super chats via Streamlabs. And for the record, even when I'm off site. Like if you're watching my videos, I'm going to use the Streamlabs link because right now it's linked to my PayPal. I have one thing. If you want to donate to the channel, that's it. And then the other ways you can help out the channel while we're shilling is you can hit the share button down there. Share it out down there. Share wherever you share things on social media. That's the biggest one for me because YouTube no longer shares your videos when you hit the like button. So, okay, cool, Dawg. You're a dude, so I'm assuming you still use he, him pronouns? Anyway, so, and man, what's great is most of you are really good about hitting the like button. And if you're here and you're not subscribed, and I think most of you subscribe, but if you're not, subscribe to the channel too and hit the bell so that you make sure you know when we're broadcasting or when I put out new videos, because that's kind of the only way you know. Or you can follow me on Twitter. That one's down here at Dawg Knight. And then if you want to send me stuff, my DMs there are open, or you can send them to me via Gmail, which is pdogknight@gmail.com. All right, let's move on to another article because I took way too much time explaining that, but I might even cut that up into a separate video. In local news, Ilhan Omar, who is a representative from the 5th District in Minnesota, which is, two districts over from me as far as congressional districts. Ilhan Omar dinged for campaign finance violations, ordered personally to repay campaign thousands. Oh, what did she do? I doxed. Everyone knows I'm from Minnesota. What are you talking about? You know how big congressional districts are? Y'all know I'm from Minnesota. I live in the Twin Cities. I'm not even going to say what I was about to say. Anyway, Democratic Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar improperly spent thousands of dollars in campaign funds on non-campaign expenses in 2016 and 2017 while serving in the state legislature. Minnesota's Campaign Finance and Public Disclosure Board ruled Thursday. Chicago Mike, yes, John Ward I haven't watched the video yet, but when John Ward puts out a video, I usually watch it at the first opportunity. He's funny as hell. At first, though, it's funny, John Ward. At first, his humor didn't click with me at first. Just because his cadence, the way he talks, it took me a while to figure out. But then I just started listening to the jokes and how, he's very, very funny. Anyway, and I'm sure he's going to be demonetized if he hasn't been already. Oh, I think he's already been completely demonetized, but it doesn't matter. He's funny as hell. Anyway, the state board ordered Omar to personally reimburse her campaign for just under $3,500 the campaign spent on out-of-state travel for Omar and on her joint tax returns. Omar is also required to pay a civil penalty. A civil penalty of $500 for using campaign funds to pay for her travel to a conference in Florida, where she received an honorarium for speaking. Republican Minnesota State Representative Steve Drazkowski filed the initial complaint in July 2018, alleging Omar's campaign had paid attorneys $2,250 for services related to Omar's 2017 marriage dissolution from her brother. Just saying. Drazkowski later amended his complaint to include the payments Omar's campaign made for her personal travel. While the state board did find that Omar's campaign made improper expenditures, it did not find the $2,250 went towards Omar's marriage dissolution. Oh, well, how do you know? I mean, let's put it this way. Whatever she took the $2,250 out for, it still helped to pay for her marriage dissolution from her brother. Just saying. The 2016 payment of $2,250 from the Omar Committee to the Chalberg Law Office was not a payment for Representative Omar's subsequent marriage dissolution, the board stated in its findings. The $2,250 payment was a reimbursement for two payments made by the Kachelberg law office. One payment of $750 was made to D. Leon and Nestor LLC for obtaining immigration records, and one payment of $1,500 was made to Frederick and Rosen Ltd. for services related to Miss Hersey's and Representative Omar's Mr. Hersey and Representative Omar's filed joint tax returns of 2014 and 2015. Mr. Hersey is her brother. He changed his name and now he lives in Illinois. I don't know if you can hear this, but I'm just saying. I'm glad this process is complete and the Campaign Finance Committee Board has come to resolution in this matter. We have been collaborative in the process and are glad. The report showed that none of the money was used for personal use as it was initially alleged. Wait a minute. Now, just because it wasn't about her divorce doesn't mean it wasn't for personal use. What the hell are you talking about? It says right here, the board said, the payment was made of $750 made to De Leon and Nestor for obtaining immigration records. Whose immigration records? Class, whose immigration records? That's what I thought. And for service to this Frederick and Rosa for service related to Mr. Hersey's and Representative Omar's filed joint tax returns of 2014 and 2015. Whose filed joint tax returns? Class. So the statement, we have been collaborative in this process and are glad the report showed that none of the money was used for personal use. Shut the fuck up. You're lying. Why you always lying? You always lying. Why you always lying? Stop fucking lying. That's personal use. Good God. In addition to complying with the board's findings, I plan on closing the account of my state house race and distributing the funds to organizations, virtue, that help train first-time candidates to run for office, virtue, so that the next generation of candidates, virtue, and their teams know how to adequately track and report campaign expenses, virtue. I also believe we need to dedicate more resources to our campaign finance agencies, virtue. I look forward to supporting these efforts, Omar said. Virtue. You fuck right off. Okay, next article. Hey, suspected Antifa member arrested for allegedly trying to chain college Republicans in a classroom. Motherfuckers. I hate that. I always get something else, my friend, who I adore this person, but I don't agree with anything she says, and she sometimes says stupid shit. Always talk. This Carlos Maza, Maddie. Hi, Maddie. Hi, by the way, and Brian Mullins. How you doing? She's like, oh yes, these people on the right who called Carlos Maza mean names and said mean things to him on the internet. I'm always so scared because they're so violent. Yes, there are violent elements on the right. And yes, believe it or not, there are really a lot of violent people on the left. And in fact, you know what? As you know, next week I'm going to be in Portland, Oregon. And one of the things that we're going there. We're going to do a waterfall tour in Oregon the first day that we're there. And then we got... my son wants to go to this bar that has like 100 beers on tap, which I'm like, okay, local microbreweries. But I want to do some, I almost want to go down to that park where there's always protests. I just want to see it in person. But there's always violence. There's always, the Antifa people are always hitting people with shit or throwing shit at people and whatever. You know, violence. Oh, gee, gosh, we haven't had any violence from the people on the left. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know the dickhead killed the girl, ran his car into the people and killed a girl, and that they'll bring that up all the time. Or the bullshit article from who's the ADL, you know, saying that all politically motivated murders were from right wing, you know, fanatics. Bullshit. We got to go through that article one day because actually someone did a great video on that, and it was someone who's a liberal who did it. But talking about how that article was complete and utter bullshit because went through the list of people that because they document all these so-called cases, and less than a third of them had anything to do with political ideology. I mean, one was about a guy who it was a prison fight, and one of the guys got killed, but it was a prison fight, but the white guy won the prison fight and killed the other guy. So they call that right-wing violence. Really? A prison fight? Come the fuck on. Anyway, so this guy tried to chain college Republicans in the classroom. While the college Republicans at the University of Washington held a meeting in a classroom, someone approached the door from the outside and attempted to chain the door shut. Luckily, they had someone watching the door. Members immediately sprang into action and chased down the suspect, who was immediately arrested. Jason Rance reported at KTTH Radio. Antifa member arrested for trying to imprison Republican students in classroom. An alleged member of the local Antifa group was arrested Monday evening for attempting and very badly failing to chain the doors, locking conservative students in a University of Washington classroom. The meeting caught the attention of Emerald City Antifa. On their Facebook page, the group encouraged members to show up and disrupt the event. Yeah. Oh, God, they can't. These guys aren't even allowed to meet. We're going to show up and disrupt their event so they can't have their meeting. Gee, fuck off, you fuckers. Anyway, one person did show up, though it's unclear if he's directly connected with the Facebook page, but he didn't try to simply disrupt the event. He tried to lock the students in the hall with a chain and lock. I saw a guy in black approach the door, but there had been no protest outside or anything, so Antifa wasn't necessarily on my radar. UWCR member Zach Wildfang told the Jason Rance Show on KTTH. He crouched down and immediately slapped his chain around the door. The chaining didn't work. It made lots of noise, as chains against the door tend to do, and it immediately alerted the students inside, who, one, already standing guard. We heard the rattling from inside. UWCR President Chevy Swanson told Rance, "We looked to see through the window and see that someone was messing with the door, and it's very clearly a chain being attached." So, the video is queued to the fifth. Well, here, let's listen to it. It's already queued. Is this right? Which video? This one? Here, let's see.
They're not able to actually create that narrative. I personally...
Now, what's fascinating, too, right? So, notice that these two young men... Tell me, if you could tell me what I'm going to say that's distinct about these two young men who are college Republicans. Just let me know. Tell me what's interesting about these two young men. Well, not these guys, but... Oh, they were going to beat his ass! Oh, this is the actual event. Yeah, notice, but I'm going to go back. The two guys addressing the group. Interesting. They're people of color. I'll be darned. Oh, it looks like humongous. Oh, good. Oh, hi, Faithless. I see you there. Wildfang, that is an awesome name. Oh, yeah, that is Zach Wildfang. I think it's possible he's Native American. But yeah, why is this not a bigger story? On Tuesday, a masked person attempted to chain lock everyone inside. I wonder if they were going to chain lock him in and then throw a firebomb inside, you know? But they arrested the jag off. I'm just telling the rest of the story myself. They arrested the Jagoff and took him to jail. Let's see. Oh, conservative group called Operation Cold Front had members at the meeting as guests. This apparently what triggered the left. Emerald City Antifa posted the following message on their Facebook page. So here's what Antifa put on their Facebook page. I'll read it in a good, solid Antifa voice. Just a reminder to people at the UW that the Operation Cold Front crew, who you might remember from such antics as "It's okay to be white" signs, transphobic harassment of students, posing as Black Lives Matter to ask for reparations, harassing people outside an abortion clinic, and more, will be having a speaking engagement at the UW June 3rd at 6 p.m. in Thompson Hall, Room 101. There's space for 100 or so people, but for those who show up, some useful tactics might I can't write, but I'll just say might to sit in using large items that take up additional seats, maybe with headphones so you don't have to hear their garbage, or noise demo tactics such as whistles to make it difficult for them to speak over. They have recently put out some ugly transphobic material, and we're harassing queer students at Evergreen. And we hope that we can take some time out this Pride Month to have our queer siblings backs. And don't talk about having their backs. And not allow these assholes to have a platform. These people are Proud Boy Chuds and Proud Boy Chud supporters. They have been caught on video yelling, "White power, what YT power, white," whatever that says. While harassing Wimixon, and have a history of harassing Wimixon, including one of the co-hosts who is an accused rapist. Wow, I wonder if that's slander or libel, one of the two. These people belong to the Him Too movement and an anti-Me Too movement, misogynist, homophobic, transphobic, traditionalist, men's right trash fire. They should not be on campus bothering students. If you are able to show up to deplatform, if you're able, show up to be platform. You know what? And you know what? Guess what? We're gonna all wear black masks and scream and yell and bang drums and blow whistles, and then if they aren't looking, we'll hit them with a stick. But make sure there's a lot of us here, and there's lots, and so that they don't kick our ass. Okay, that's not in it, but whatever. So here's the obvious question. What was the point of chaining the door shut? Was it just to lock them in, or was something else coming next? That's what I said, too. As I already said, what was coming next if the dude had successfully locked the door? Were they going to... who knows? So, anyway. All right, next article. Wow, I'm going long today. I guess my rant at the beginning really took some time, didn't it? Speaking of Dick Nozzle, whatever his name is, Carlos Maza. By the way, before I go on, I got to shill again. The Morning Night Live is brought to you by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. If you so inclined, make sure you hit the share button and like button down below. So subscribe, hit the bell, and super chats and donations through the Streamlabs link down in the description down below, and somewhere here in the chat. I know it'll pop up every once in a while, thanks to my lovely and wonderful moderator, Sarah. So thanks for those of you who donate to the show. All right, moving on. Twitter. Oh, yeah, Twitter now. So Twitter's next. You know what? Here's the thing. It's time. I really want to... I want to tweet to Carlos Maza, although the advantage of not tweeting to him is I can still read all the shit he writes, and he hasn't blocked me yet. But I kind of want to say to Carlos, you know what, Carlos? It might be a good time why don't you just sue YouTube? Why don't you sue YouTube? Let's set that precedent now, that you go and sue YouTube, because right now, because they're capitulating to your bullshit, and I don't know, maybe I shouldn't call it bullshit. It is kind of bullshit because this is a very planned out thing he's done. This isn't just something where he suddenly snapped. Okay, a couple things. One, his union is striking at Vox, or they're trying to negotiate a contract at Vox. Now, Vox is hemorrhaging money in certain areas. They're not in trouble because they have the backing of NBC Universal, I think it is. There's their parent company. And so they got, $200 million from before. And their podcast area is doing really well. But their video area, where Carlos Maza works, is not doing well. So they're trying to get more money out of Vox. Oh, and just so happens now, all of a sudden, Carlos Maza, who right after they do a little walkout the day before, I think it was the 30th or whatever, so conveniently, suddenly Carlos Maza gets in this giant, huge, Twitter thing with Steven Crowder, and all of a sudden his profile is huge right now. Everybody knows who Dickhead is now because he's been on Twitter for a week now, nonstop tweeting about this. He got the attention of the Daily Beast, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Verge, Huffington Post. He's everywhere. Everyone's talking about this thing, and they're all dogpiling on Steven Crowder, right? And he's the biggest name in the world right now. I mean, you'd probably put his name next to Donald Trump, and there's probably people. Well, maybe not. I mean, not everyone pays attention to this shit, but they're trying to get everyone to pay attention to shit. Oh, and it just happens to be the day before Pride Month he rolls this out. This guy, I'm telling you right now, like I told you yesterday, his Media Matters experience, absolutely perfect for what he's doing right now, because he knows how to get the attention of those people. And everyone's been writing these dog shit stories on YouTube about YouTube. Well, YouTube's a platform. YouTube doesn't control what the people on their platform do unless it's really outside the lines. But now, just like recently with Twitter, just like recently with Facebook, all these platforms, yes, they're private companies. Fucking stop telling me they're private companies, damn it. That's a fictitious person over there telling me about that they're private companies. They can do everything fucking they want, blah, 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 blah. Really? Can they refuse to bake a cake for a gay wedding? Is that okay? Anyway, but all three of these companies, and I'm saying Google as the parent company of YouTube, all of a sudden they are controlling the content that's on their platforms. Well, they have this thing called the 230 exemption, in the Communications Act, that treats them as a social media company, so they can't be held liable for what's on their platforms. If someone puts something on their platform, that it's that person who can be held liable and not the platform itself. But that's contingent on the fact that they're not publishers. They don't control what's on their platform. But now, all three of them are just taking huge control of what's on their platform. Okay? Not using, First Amendment principles because, they're a private company. Fuck you. They're controlling what's on their platforms. They're absolutely telling you what kinds of ideologies you can put on your platforms, what kind of words you can use. They're a publisher, even though the rules really only apply to the private, the low end user of YouTube, which is just the people like you and me who use YouTube, for whatever they do. Because obviously those rules don't apply to the big companies. Otherwise, clips of Game of Thrones promoting incest. Do you think advertisers are going to advertise on that shit? Hell yeah, they'll do that, you dumbass. So don't tell me something. I mean, what's the most offensive things that you can put on there that the big guys are allowed to do, or the late night host? Can the late night host say whatever the hell they want on YouTube? Hell yeah, they can. Doesn't matter. Calling Trump's, someone a cock holster. Really? Isn't that a homophobic slur? Stephen Colbert? Huh? Isn't that a homophobic slur? So anyway, but I think I think everyone should encourage Carlos Maza to sue YouTube now. And let's see if YouTube wants to be a publisher or a platform, a open platform, which they claim to be. Why haven't, and I want the lawyer for the Covington kids. I want them to sue Twitter and Facebook, because Facebook and Twitter spread those lies just as fast as everybody else did. Now, since Twitter and Facebook control what's put on their platforms, shouldn't they be held liable? Because they're publishers now. They clearly decided what can and cannot be on their platform. So the publisher does that, not an open platform. Oh, unless somebody's out there breaking the law. But those are, I mean, come on. Twitter and Facebook had CNN feeds that had completely and utterly fake news, provably fake news about all kinds of things. But they chose to publish them then anyway. So clearly some people are allowed to publish certain things and some are not. So they're publishers. So now, why doesn't Carlos Maza, talking to you, I'm not going to say it because that's not how I talk to people. Carlos Maza, why don't you just sue YouTube? Okay? Are they liable for what Steven Crowder puts on their platform? Are they a publisher now? If you think they're a publisher, then fine. And then we'll all when those companies all die, we'll go to. I've already started using alternative media. I've got a channel on BitChute. I have a Minds account. I even got a Gab account. I don't really use it. And Gab has a bad reputation. I might get whatever. There's a new one out there that a lot of people are going to. Yes, Faithless. That's what I won't say. Although, if I quote Steven Crowder called him a, quote, lispy queer, end quote. I suppose I could say it that way. But I have no interest in calling him a lispy queer. That's not my style. I'll call him a fucktard. Because he is. But, you know. Anyway, yeah, they're all whatchamacallits. They're all publishers now. So I think they're ripe for suing, and I could care less if they all go down under the weight of 1,000 lawsuits. Go ahead, I don't care. I'll go use my BitChute account more. I'll get a DLive account. I'll use Minds more. I'll use Gab. What's the new one? There's a new one that everyone's talking about. Parler. That's the other one. Parler. So, you know what? I'll go somewhere where you can say what you want, and as long as you're not breaking the law. I don't want people to be able to break the law. I don't want people to be able to threaten people. If I tell a joke you don't like with a slur or whatever that you don't like, you know how many times I have been called nigger in my life? I'm still here. I'm fine. I'm okay. All right. Bad word. Don't call me that. I'll just say fuck you and keep moving. So, whatever. Next article. This is the Twitter article. Twitter goes into PR mode after YouTube demonetizes Crowder. I'm running out of time. I might not even get to Twitter Trends today. Well, I'll do Twitter Trends after this. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more articles, and I haven't gotten to these. It's because I keep going on rants. This is a good rant day. If you like my rants today, put a 1 in the chat and throw a tip in the tip jar. Streamlabs link in the description down below. Anyway, Twitter reordered and shortened its rules Thursday after YouTube decided to demonetize a conservative pundit and several academics on Wednesday. Twitter dramatically reduced the number of words the company uses from 2,500 to 600 words to explain its set of rules. The company also created a set of strategies on its rules page, safety, privacy, and authenticity, to help users navigate through its policies. Rules should be easy to understand. We heard you. Ours were not. We updated, reordered, and shortened them so you can know what's allowed on Twitter. Click through this thread for all our rules and read our blog to learn more. Twitter wrote a tweet thread explaining how the company jiggered its rules. I'm going to have to read that today. Although I'm nice to people on Twitter. I will argue with people and never say a mean thing about them. I won't even call people stupid. What the hell's a 3? Hi, check your logic. I didn't see you here until just now. Jaeger Pony, how you doing? Lord Rothschild, Lord blah, 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 blah. Lord Rothschild. Anyway, all right. Twitter's not responded to Daily College News Foundation request for comment. Yeah, I'm curious how they're going to treat this too. Because yeah, Maz is still going. In fact, I had, let's see, I'm going to and now Music Man Mike, Michael Rowlands, I don't know if you know who he is. Now he's on a thread trying to get attention because he's been barking at people nothing nonstop for the last 3 or 4 days trying to support gay wonk. Fuck Michael Rowlands. I shouldn't say that. I have a frenemies relationship with him too, where he and I will converse on Twitter. We don't agree on anything. But I tell you what, if anytime Michael Rowlands comes to the United States, and if he's ever anywhere near me, I will buy the man a beer and we'll go sit down and chat. Because even though I don't like how I don't like his thought process and I disagree with him, I think he'd be an interesting person to have a beer with. And in fact, one time he was in the States and I offered him, and he just wasn't going to be anywhere near where I lived. But we don't agree on anything, but I can certainly have a beer and have a chat with just about anybody in the planet. So somebody with a super chat, I think. Thank you so much, Chicago Mike. P-Dog turning into Ranting Monkey with the $10 super chat. Yeah, I don't know. I'm on a roll today. I'm on a roll. Good God. Yeah, Music Man Mike. You met at MythCon last year. He was nothing but nice to me. Yeah, I've heard that in person. He's probably a good guy, and I told him if he ever shows up, I was gonna go to that MythCon. That's when I was gonna buy him a beer because he did a tour of the States a year earlier and he was going around, but he didn't come anywhere near the Twin Cities. And I said, well, if I ever run into you, I'd love to buy you a beer, and he was open to that. I think he's a good guy, but he plays a jerk on the internet. Let's put it that way. By the way, good morning, Chaos. How are you? Or Eve. I'll call you Eve. I know. All right. I just noticed that today was Funkless. Oh, you're right. You are so correct. I just noticed. Well, I didn't notice. You noticed for me. Here for the last. I got about 10 minutes left, but we'll throw some heat at you. Let's throw some heat at you. Oh, that's kind of a South Central hip hop beat. Feel like I'm rolling down the road in my Impala, hitting some switches. Feel the switches going? Oh yeah. This is Snoop. Rolling in my 5.0. Got the drop top down. Got a little fatty in my hand. I got my thing going down the street. Feeling neat. Can't compete with my sweetness. Okay, that's enough for that. This is for La Raza. All right, anyway. Sly and the Family Stone style. We'll do that one. We'll do that next week. I'll get back to the funk. I like the funk. Alrighty, where was I? Did I finish what I was going to say on the Twitter thing? Yeah, I did. The only thing is, the other thing too, Cal, they got so many people they suspended that were just kind of false positives, so to speak. You know, this dude, Mr. Alsop's history. Now, I have a theory on the Mr. Alsop's history. Okay? So, this dude has a channel. He's into history, okay? His channel basically has, newsreel footage and speeches, Franklin Delano Roosevelt or whatever. He had a couple Hitler speeches on his channel. Now, I don't think that is what triggered them to dump his channel. Because I think what happened, if you're familiar with another gentleman named James Alsop, who had his entire channel demonetized. I got a feeling that there's some asshole at YouTube who saw this channel, Mr. Alsop's history, and thought that was something to do with James Alsop. Combined with the fact that there were a couple Hitler speeches on the channel. So that's what I think happened here. And so the dickhead, oh, did you see this? This is I bet this is that James, it's not even spelled the same way, but still. This is that James Alsop asshole. There's a Hitler speech out here. We're going to take this fucker down. Anyway. All right. And then also Ford Fisher, who's a documentary filmmaker. He's a dude who sells, he goes out and takes footage of things and sells it to news organizations. So, anyway, there's a bunch of people that, now they've restored a lot of those channels that they fucked up with when they first got wind of this and started demonetizing people. So whatever. Do I do more articles or just see what's on Twitter? I should check what's on Twitter. By the way, real quick, thank you so much, Necrosol, and who else? And Rolling Bear, for tweeting out the show today. I appreciate it. And also, even after the show, folks, it really helps if you can share this somewhere. I'm growing slowly but surely, and believe me, I've got a whole bunch of videos I'm going to put out. Also, programming note. So next week, starting on Wednesday, we're doing our big West Coast trip with my wife and son, and I have some people here house sitting to take care of my dogs. But so we're going to be gone for 2 weeks, and I'm going to do the show on the road when I can. But because YouTube hasn't fixed that, well, not fixed, I just never got to 1,000 subscribers, so I can do it with my phone. I'm gonna have to take all my equipment with me, and I'm not gonna be able to set it up every day. We're out there to see things, but what I'll do is I probably will do some tape stuff, put those out, and so technically the show itself, even though I may do some episodes out there, I'm going on a 2-week hiatus where it's not going to be regular, and then I'll come back and do the show on a regular basis when we return later in the month. So just so you know, sometimes you'll see tape, sometimes I'll be live, but that's another reason to subscribe and hit the bell so that you'll get notifications when I am live, or you can find out on Twitter when I will actually be on live. Good question, Faithless. Did PewDiePie get hit for his vids with Hitler footage? Yeah, those were demonetized a long time ago. I'm curious. Now, wouldn't it be amazing? Now, I don't even know. Does anyone know if PewDiePie, if his channel's monetized, or does he just make money from sponsors? And I'm sure he has does he even have a Patreon? I guess no, I know he doesn't have a Patreon, but wouldn't that be something if he had a Patreon? and of 1% of his 1% of his viewers said put $1 a month. But he makes, someone said he makes about $2 million a month off of YouTube. I don't know how that works, but wouldn't that be amazing if, like, PewDiePie decided, you know what, I'm just going to demonetize my channel. You know how much money they make off of him? Do you know that's why they haven't kicked him off? And that's why they haven't demonetized him. I'm just saying this is all about money for YouTube. They're afraid that this Carlos Maza has made enough stink, and now all the media is jumping on board. Carlos Maza is just calculatedly trying to get people kicked off YouTube. He's admitted that in the past. He wants people deplatformed. Period. He doesn't give a shit about Steven Crowder. He cares about people who disagree with him. Oh, another rant. Let's just get out of that rant right now before I blow a gasket. Let's just take a quick perusal through Twitter trends, and then we'll get out of here. Today, number one trending, it's National Freaking Donut Day. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy a donut today. It's National Donut Day. Oh my gosh, National Donut Day. Free donuts, best deals, coupons, vouchers for Krispy Kreme, Dunkin' Donuts at Walmart. Okay, so I'm gonna put this. I'm just gonna put this in the chat. There you go. National Donut Day. So yeah. Oh, look at the cop cars lined up. Oh, that's just kidding. Anyway. Oh, it's trending #1. Also, you know about that is hey, it's National Donut Day. There's pictures of Barack Obama getting donuts. There's, I don't know, who's that dude? That's the hell's his name? I can't remember, but there's George W. Bush at a Dunkin' Donuts, and Sonny Callahan with donuts on the floor of the house. Oh no, squirrel stole that cop's donut. That's what that picture was. Oh, dude. All right. So anyway, yeah. I might have to go get a donut after I leave here. Okay, it's trending #1 every day is National Donut Day. All right, #2, Nadal. Oh man, yeah, the King of Clay, Roger Federer goes down to Rafael Nadal at the French Open. Nadal takes the first set in his 39th match against Roger Federer. He defeated him in 3 sets. Rafael Nadal cruises through the French Open final following his 39th matchup against Roger Federer. He will either face top seed Novak Djokovic or 4th seed Dominic Thiem. So, so he's going to be in. He cruises into, not through the French Open final. Good God. People need to learn how to write. Oh, I love the donut emojis there. Thank you, DL Freighter. That's awesome. Yeah, I'll eat a donut in the afternoon. I can eat a donut at midnight. I can eat a donut any time of day. Donuts are like the world's perfect food. They're round, so they have no corners. They're perfect. And then they, I don't know. You can put anything on them. Oh, man. Okay, so there's a store chain here in the Midwest, or I should say the Midlands, based out of Iowa, called Hy-Vee Foods. And so they have these really nice grocery stores all over the Midwest here, and they make the most awesome. It's a glazed donut with maple icing and bacon on it. It is so freaking good. I thought, oh, that looks weird. Bacon on a donut. Dude. But you can only eat one because it's just so rich and tasty. But it's, oh my God, a donut with maple icing and bacon. You feel like you're living in a dreamland when you eat that bad boy. All right, next Twitter trend. What is it? Oh yeah, this is not cool. This was not cool. So anyway, Sofane, if you know Sofane, Roger Federer got so torched by Rafael Nadal at the French Open, and he was seriously frustrated. This random shot into the crowd didn't even draw a warning, but it cracked me up. This dude thought he had good seats until he got his dome knocked off. All right, let's see. Let's see. Trending #3, wear orange. Okay, so Gun Violence Awareness Day. I wonder if they'll be wearing orange in the hood. Last week it was Virginia Beach, but day after day and year after year, too many families and communities are shattered by senseless gun violence. We can't get numb on this. On National Gun Violence Awareness Day, pledge to speak out, wear orange, and vote to protect lives. Barack Obama. You know what? Until you get enough people to vote away the Second Amendment, you're just not going to happen. Maybe we can figure out why there's so much gun violence concentrated in so few areas, because the random shit that gets the headlines, that's not the shit that happens every day. That's not the 50 people who were shot in Chicago this weekend, 12 who died. Okay, let's fix that. And because remember, Chicago has strict gun laws, but people are getting shot there every day. And so and especially Barack Obama, because the #1 demographic victims of gun violence are black people. Gee, could Barack Obama do something to inspire people instead of trying to worry about people who have guns legally? Because those are the laws that affect the legal guns. That don't do shit. Because a vast majority of the gun violence, where the people that look like us, Barack, ain't using legal guns anyway. I'm doing that clap thing. They're not using legal guns anyway. Come on, Barack, step up, man. Step up. Start going into the hood. Barack, have you ever been to the hood? I know you grew up in Hawaii and went to prep schools and then lived in Indonesia and shit. Have you ever, even when you were a community organizer in the Chicagoland area, did you ever actually go into the community and try to inspire people? You're a former president of the United States. I know that you got the big deal with Netflix and the podcasts and all that shit. Is that shit going to be broadcast in the hood where we're killing each other? Just curious, sir. Just curious. That's why, you know what? That's why a lot of the black people don't really support you anymore. They don't believe in you. Because you're not that guy that they thought was going to happen when you became president. And even though me personally, even though I didn't vote for you. But when you got elected, I thought it was fantastic because when I was 12 years old, I said, you know what? I think I'm going to be the first black president. And I'm going to be the first black president, and that's going to be, let's say 2008. It was my arbitrary date because I knew I'd be old enough, whatever, and I said, I'm going to be the first black president in 2008. And then now it didn't end up being me, but the first black president happened in 2008. I'm like, damn. He's a liberal, he's a Democrat, but that's still cool to me, you know? That, especially a person of half African descent like me, half Irish descent like me. Damn, I was close. It wasn't me, but it was someone very similar to me. And I'm like, man, okay. Now, I'm not a big fan of this guy, but I think he can do something really special being who he is. What happened? It didn't happen. Now you're over here talking about wear orange. Hey, Barack, go put on a hoodie and go into the hood and talk to some people. Wear orange. Kiss my ass. Friday motivation, I just gave it to you. I'm skipping that. Friday thoughts, I just gave you my Friday thoughts. Prince Day, trending. Prince Rogers Nelson Day. I know he didn't celebrate his birthday, but on this day and every day, I remember and celebrate him. Happy born day, beautiful one, Prince. 7th of June, it is his birthday. I would arguably might be the most talented musician of all time. I don't say that lightly as a former musician. And honestly, he's in my top 5 best guitarists of all time. If you listen to some of his stuff, that's not the commercial stuff that he did, but more stuff he did in concerts, sometimes doing the things that, some of the stuff he did at his live shows that was more like covering other people's stuff, and then he'd go off into a guitar solo. He might be the most talented, it might be one of the best guitar players I've ever heard. And I've heard him live 3 times, and seen plenty of the videos on YouTube. And I love guitar players. Guitar players are I have a big thing for really good guitar players. But I put him in the same category as Stevie Ray Vaughan, Stephen Vai, Eddie Van Halen, Eric Clapton, Jimi Hendrix. He's in that same category as far as a talented guitar player. If you want to go and check out some of his videos, on some of the videos that are now on YouTube that used to never be there. So anyway, happy birthday, Prince. Also in local news, happy birthday to Prince Rogers Nelson. He's from the Twin Cities. Let's see, Luke Combs, who's that? Probably something to do with he's a musician, probably a country musician, I'm guessing. Our brand new, okay, Black Eyed Peas. Why the Black Eyed Peas? Who's Luke Combs? New music videos, Luke Combs. Okay, he's a country singer. Okay, I have to check him out. I'm not familiar with him, but he's trending for some reason. He has a new album out. Yeezys. Oh, something about the shoes that what's his face put out. Yeezy Supply, tap here to review your order. All sales are final, no returns or exchanges. Yeezy Boost 350 V12. Okay, so Yeezy size 12, sales price $220 right now. Yeezys are expensive ass shoes, and so whatever. What's his face? Who makes the Yeezys? The Kim Kardashian's husband. Kanye West shoes. Why they're trending, I don't know. I don't care. Gwendolyn Brooks. Anybody about who's Gwendolyn Brooks? Happy birthday, Gwendolyn Brooks and Nikki Giovanni. Okay. She became the first of math. Oh, that's Gwendolyn Brooks. She's the first African American to receive a Pulitzer Prize. Journalist from, I can't remember where she was from, but yeah, I knew that. Essentially, she wrote for poetry. Excuse me. Yeah. Anyway, so good. And I don't think she's still alive. But anyway, Yuka. That's got to be. I'm not even gonna click it. It's got to be something to do with whatchamacallit. K-pop. Oh, now this is this might be the last one to do because I got to get out of here. This just in. The Navy has released video of a Russian destroyer unsafe maneuver against the cruiser USS Chancellorville today in the Philippine Sea. The destroyer got within 50 to 100 feet, and Chancellorville had to put its engines at full back to avoid the collision. This is insane. Okay. Here, I'll expand this. So this is how close these ships got to each other. Now, it's weird because if you think about the scale of the size of these ships, I was up in Duluth last summer, and a gigantic freighter it was coming out of. They have a lift bridge, and this gigantic freighter is 770 feet long, basically 7 football fields long, 770 yards long. I mean, it's huge. These ships are huge, and them coming this close in an ocean or the Philippine Sea is just insane. I mean that is absolutely a near miss, and so pretty freakish. I'm sure there's going to be some repercussions somehow. Okay, so that's why the Philippine Sea is trending. Let's go. World Cup. That's Cricket World Cup. Don't care. John Solomon. Why is he trending? Oh. He's trending because Donald Trump mentioned him. John Solomon's a journalist. Factual errors and major omissions in the Mueller report show that it is totally biased against Trump. He wrote this article, I think, for The Hill. I'm going to link it because I don't have time to go through it. This is the article. It's talking about the Mueller report. There's all kinds of screw-ups in that thing that are just, you go, wait a minute. Did they really put this out with these factual errors and omissions in there? Like they don't mention. Well, here, let's see. Key finding in the Mueller report: Ukrainian businessman Konstantin Kilimnik, who worked for Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort, is tied to Russian intelligence. But hundreds of pages of government documents, which special counsel Mueller possessed since 2018, described Kilimnik as a sensitive intelligence source for the U.S. State Department, informed on Ukrainian and Russian matters. So he's one of their sources. Ha ha! Yes, that's hilarious. I'm gonna go. Let's finish this. I'll just be late to where I'm going. Why Mueller's team omitted that part in the Kilimnik narrative from its report and related court findings is not known, but the relevation of it comes as the accuracy of Mueller's Russia conclusions face increased scrutiny. Oh, good. They need to face scrutiny. Oh my gosh. The whole Russia part of this report is fascinating to me. And I think you're going to find that a lot of it is bullshit. Anyway, the incomplete portrayal of Kilimnik is so important to Mueller's overall narrative that it raised in the opening of his report. The FBI assesses Kilimnik to have ties to Russian intelligence. Oh, wait a minute. He was a intelligence source for the State Department. Mueller's team wrote at page 6, putting sinister light on every contact Kilimnik had with Manafort, the former Trump campaign chairman. What it doesn't state is that Killimek was a sensitive intelligence source for state going back to at least 2013 while he was still working for Manafort, according to FBI and State Department memos I reviewed. So they have receipts too! Killimek was not just any run-of-the-mill source either. He interacted with the chief political officer at the U.S. Embassy in Kiev, sometimes meeting several times a week to provide information on the Ukraine government. He relayed messages back to Ukraine's leaders and delivered written reports to U.S. officials via emails that stretched on for thousands of words, the memo showed. The FBI knew all of this well before the Mueller investigation concluded. Alan Purcell, the chief political officer at the Kiev embassy from 2014 to 2017, told agents that state officials, including senior embassy officials Alexander Kazanov and Eric Schultz, deemed Killimek to be such a valuable asset that they kept his name out of cables for fear he would be compromised by leaks to WikiLeaks. This guy was our source. It's amazing. Oh, this stuff's so amazing to me. Purcell described what he considered an unusual level of discretion that was taken in handling Killimek. States one FBI interview report that I have reviewed. Normally, the head of the political section would not handle sources, but Kazanov informed Purcell that Killimek was a sensitive source. Purcell told the FBI that Killimek provided detailed information about OB, Ukraine's opposition bloc, inner workings, that sometimes was so valuable it was forwarded immediately to the ambassador. Purcell learned that other Western governments relied on Killimek as a source too. This guy was an asset for the entire West, and they tried to make him out to be what? Tied to Russian intelligence. Huh. Very interesting. I'm going to put the rest, I'm not going to read any more, so I'll put the rest of this in the chat because I actually got to go. That's it for Twitter trends, unless there's anything else. I don't know. John Solomon was next. Anything else? Dinesh, I don't know why Dinesh D'Souza's and DJ Khaled. Maybe is that DJ Khaled or is it somebody else Khaled? I don't know. Oh, DJ Khaled. Something about... Anyway, that's the trends for today. That John Solomon article, which I'm clicking right now into the chat, right click it and put it somewhere on your desktop and read it later. It's very important. John Solomon actually has done great work on this whole Russia thing. And that was a question, there's all kinds of questions right from the beginning of that report, especially when the whole thing about the hack and the WikiLeaks source, being a source for WikiLeaks. I'm not so positive that happens. That's a narrative. That is narrative. And anyway, whatever. So, hey, y'all, thank you so much for being here today. If you haven't done so yet, right down there, hit that like button, hit the share. Okay. Now the problem, I don't know if it's when you share it, if you're going to get the live link or whatever, but if you happen to have missed part of the show and you come back and watch it later, share it then, because then it'll have the proper link up there. But I got to thank you all for being here, like you are so often here for the Morning Night Live. We're here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 2 p.m. GMT. For those people in other parts of the world who know what GMT is used for or how to use it. And the Mountain Time and Pacific Coast Time, you're so used to hearing Eastern and Central, you automatically figure it out. So, because some of you are a little smarter than the rest of us in these time zones. So there you go. I just gave you a compliment. Anyway, I gotta go. My name is Dawg Knight. Thank you for being here. Wait, that's not what I say. What do I say? My name's Dawg Knight. And I am out of here. Bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and I want to thank you for joining me today on the Dawg Knight channel. Before you go, if you like what you saw and you're not already subscribed, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below, and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, and 2 p.m. GMT. A special thanks to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through our Streamlabs link in the description below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.